The time Rik Emmett of Triumph pulled a fast one on the Nuge, Ted Nugent, on Rock History Music.
Oh dear. Here's another picture from the book. This is me on stage in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
In 1983 with terrible Ted Nugent up there in his shorts or his loincloth or something. And then Sammy Hagar. And Sammy doesn't even have a guitar. He's really just singing into one of those head mics, but we were rocking it up. And the story that's in the book, I mean, I don't know if it's in the book or not. Certainly I played those gigs. I'll tell the story quick. 2 nights, right? We played the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. The next night we played the Astrodome in Houston. And it was a big show that had Ted, us, Sammy, and then Styx was the big headliner. And of course, Ted got up there and just annihilated everybody. Triumph, we pretty much did, a pile driving rock and roll machine kind of set. And then, Sammy would get up there and just annihilate, And of course, Tommy Shaw of Styx was backstage with Dennis DeYoung going, Dennis, we can't do Mr. Roboto. Like, we can't. Like, please don't make us do that. We shouldn't do Babe. We should just do Blue Collar Man. And Dennis is going, no, we're going to do our thing. Everybody put on your costumes. We're going to go do our Broadway show. And it was like, and the people would just leave in droves when Styx was doing their thing. Anyways, and part of the thing with Sammy too was he knew he was going to drive the steak home because he goes, hey, Ted, hey, Rick, would you like to get up and jam with me? We could do a whole lot of love. And I go, yeah, that sounds like, for an outdoor show, by the time people have got through, 2.5 rock bands, they're like, that's a pretty good idea. So we get up there and we get about, to the point of the song where there's going to be the breakdown and that weird little drum solo and the bugga bum 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 boom boom, the guitar fills. But we're just jamming, right? So we're at that point and it's just going to be this guitar jam. No one is going to know what's going to happen. Ted takes off. This is the first night in Dallas. He takes off, and then Sammy takes off chasing him, and they're running around. They go over the way stage right, and then they come ripping across. And I go, those sons of bitches. I jump and I run and I start chasing them after they left me behind in the dust. So the next night when we're in Houston, I go, I know when the queue's coming. I'm going to jump the queue. And so before we get there, I start running. And then they got to go, boom, and then now they got to chase me, right? And so after we finish, I get in the elevators to go up to the private booths that are at the top of the Astrodome, and Ted's in the. Him and I are almost. I think there might have been a road manager, but we're kind of alone in the elevator. And Ted is about 6'2" or 3, and he turns to me and he looks down at me and he goes, "Hey, man, you stole my move." And I turn and I go, oh God, I'm gonna die, And he goes, that was awesome. That was great. I go, oh, thank God. Ted's not gonna kill me.
Killed by Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
We always knew the Nuge had it in him. He killed somebody.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Here we go. This is Pat Metheny signed picture. Pat Metheny is one of my great favorite artists, and Rick Wharton is a guy that I don't know, got backstage at a show in Ottawa or something. So I have Pat's autograph, and I think this is the greatest guitar artist on the planet Earth. So
by the way, I love Rick Wharton too. I think he's such a nice human being. I know you go way back with him. I had a long chat with him a little while ago about some of the things he's doing, and that guy's salt of the earth. Funny guy too.
He is. Anybody that had to survive as a regional marketing sales guy for MCA Records in Canada, I love Spud, and he's he's been going through some health things lately, but I think he's going to make it through. And okay, here's the next one. So this was one of the big moments of this. There's pictures of this in my memoir.
Yes,
but there's me and Steve Morse playing together on, I can't remember the date now, but it was in 1987, maybe June of 87. And I have several from that thing, but Steve Morse is one of the greatest guitar players on the planet Earth. And that was an incredible night of my life.
Yeah.
I have a little pile of things that, because I knew I was going to be doing your show, and I thought, okay, before we go, I want to walk John through these things, because there's stories and stuff, and it kind of relates to the book, but it relates to my studio here. Yeah. Okay. So just remember that that's there, and come back.
We could do that right now if you want.
Okay. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are things I've ordered. My studio is almost complete, but I still need to put up some 8x10s and some framed things. So I've ordered the frames and they're coming. But these are the things that remain to be framed and put up in my studio. Okay. So here's the first one. I'm going to hold this up so you can see it. This is an autographed picture of Jerry Seinfeld, because I had a good friend who was the entertainment coordinator at the Borgata, and he was playing there in New Jersey. And so one day they said, hey, you'll never guess this, I got Jerry Seinfeld's autograph for you. So that's,
hey, before you go on, you know what I was watching just before we did the interview? The George Costanza thing where he says, you son of bitches, bastards. I was just watching that as you dialed in.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, and I was not a Seinfeld fan at the beginning, because in the show I would watch it and I would go, there's no one here that I can like. They're all very unlikable people. But of course, that was the thing, that they've made a TV show where you're not supposed to like them. They're not heroic in any. I have another one that I'm going to put up. This is me and Ed Pickard. And so this is,
You and I've talked about him many times. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like, he's a huge role model of mine, kind of hero. And he was the most unheroic kind of hero. Now, let me try to put this in perspective, what's going on here for your viewers and your listeners. So Ed was going to play Suitcase Blues with me that night. And so, and he came out and he sat down, and it was a room full of guitar heads, you know, like, because there was Morris and there was Leona Boyd, and there was just, you know, it was they called it the Night of 1,000 Guitars. And Ed was kind of, you know, the jazz guy, you know. So he comes out and the dance floor is packed, and it's all these, you know, mostly guys from probably the ages of 17 to, you know, 35 kind of. And they start cheering for Ed, and they keep cheering, and the cheering keeps growing and growing and swelling. And he's sitting there, and he's never experienced anything like this in his life, right? He usually plays quiet little places where people are supposed to shut up and listen. But here's this thing where he's getting this like pure love, pure adulation kind of thing. And he does a Jack Benny thing where he puts his hand up on his cheek. And this picture, like, look at him. He's doing this is the moment where
just like
going, Rochester, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
And I just loved that moment so much, you know, and God bless him.
Lay It on the Line is the new book from Rik Emmett. It's an amazing book. It's more about life than it is really about triumph, but there's a lot of juicy triumph stories, a lot of great fan stories on there. But what I enjoyed the most is his rules to life, rules that he used to become a successful rock star, really. And some of these rules I used to live by, and I've forgotten them. You know how it is when you have something that works for you, and then years later you go, when did I stop doing that? There's a lot of that in Rik Emmett's book, Laying on the Line. Links in the top of the description where you can pick it up directly from the publisher. We'll have more from Rik Emmett in the next few days. Really, comment on our videos because we read all the comments. Subscribe to our channel. It really does help. If you want to make a donation to the channel, at the very top of the description, there's a PayPal link. You can join our Patreon and get early access to our videos. Like our videos and share them on social media. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Take care of yourself.